That's
Ooh, got it. Oh, we're live in
Oh yeah.
effect. The Birdman.
44 crew. What's it?
Oh yeah. What's up? What's up?
Good beauty,
Miss
guys, man.
Mr. Duron.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. Just out here in land of Austin, Texas. Things are things have been pretty chill. There's been like a little bit of like a ruffle this last week. They had like a this blues on the grease. It's called Blues on the Green. It was like Austin City Limits people putting it on. It was like last or 2 weeks ago. There was probably like I don't know. I would guess like 15,000 people came to the park.
Damn.
And so they threw some bullshit. It was about to be on Wednesday and Thursday, and they just canceled it, so everybody's fucking pissed.
Oh,
The
they just
variant.
canceled it right before.
What?
They just canceled it right before.
Right before, 2 days before,
Oh,
because like of vax and fucking mask mandate bullshit.
right.
But
I heard somebody refer to the Delta variant as Delta Plus, and I legit thought that they said Disney Plus. I was like, what the fuck? That's like targeted marketing for the fucking disease.
oh my god, bro, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
wild shit.
Oh
Right when Loki just finished fucking Disney Plus, bro.
yeah. Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh.
Yeah. The timing is not a coincidence. Well, fucking, I don't know. Want to just you want to give us a little give the people a little background about you,
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure, man.
and
what
your
what
trip.
you been doing?
I
Um,
definitely will.
I pretty much, I don't really have any uh, plans for this convo except to just vibe off what you got. So
Cool, bro. I
yeah,
appreciate you guys having me on, man. I'm stoked to be sitting down with you guys. It's been a minute,
oh yeah,
brothers crew, and yeah. So let's see. I've been working on myself a bunch, and I feel um I'm using the word upgrade and up leveling because it just seems like we're all in this collective process of growth if we accept it, and I feel that's the name of the game. Grow with the flow. So I feel like because I got to a certain place in myself with like the space that I created, I veered out of a certain type of toxic lifestyle for many years, and when I finally started clearing the cobwebs, a lot of information started coming in that I would call wisdom, and that came from embedding uh, different different types of knowledge that was passing by me, falling on my lap through books, through, working in the Amazon jungle, through initiations into a weatherworking lineage in Mexico, to now being in the general arena of holistic wellness, helping people get on the same track. And I feel like, what we connected on, about a year ago is part of that whole evolutionary track of us healing ourselves in a certain way, but also just becoming more aware of the truth, I feel. And so, with that awareness now, there seems to be an influx of so much shit that's been just hiding right in front of our face for as long as we can remember in this experience, right? So I've been pretty astounded and boggled and also very just like stoked on the mission of, like helping people to wake up and see behind the curtains of illusion that have been trapping them for so long, in the realms of, just overdoing certain substances, being stuck in loops, that are connected to traumatic family events through to unhealthy, unsafe environments, and and I feel this like weaving together of all the information, and if I allow myself the space to just pick one pillar to work on a day and focus on it, I feel like I'm able to amplify and also receive the information that I can share it in a way that people can absorb it and get it. And I've been fucking stoked on you guys. Just seeing the content that you've been putting out. It's really juicing me up to just keep documenting. Keep going beneath the surface. Like getting more of this information out. Like especially around the ancient architecture from a previous civilization that got wiped probably not too far in the distant past. And I feel that all of my healing upgrades and the things I'm learning about sound healing, these different types of therapies, I feel that that was online not too long ago, and that information got wiped. And so I almost feel like this like closeness to a past life that I had, let's say at the early 1800s when shit went down. And I'm sensing like all of these tools and these pieces coming back to me, and like recognizing when I look at a cathedral, I'm like, huh, that one has a certain energetic, what I call energetic patterning, like a geometry that's the same as this one in this city, that's the same in this one as this city. I also look at other government municipalities and I see symbols very similar to the swastika that are on the crown moldings of the pillars and sort of outside of the buildings. And what I recognize those as are also some type of energy information. And so I'll just put this in right now because this is something that many of you know me for, and that was the use and the transformation of the symbol of the swastika. And I feel like that simple symbol that they took and like inverted on its axis to distract people from actually recognizing it as a symbol of energy has been popping up for me lately, because I go to I just take walks downtown Austin and I'm just like, taking shots of like the details, and I'm just like, wow, look at all those like swastikas in a row. Like it goes across this like building that's probably, dude, honestly, it feels like over 1,000 years old. Like just the way that it's built. I look really close at the masonry, and there's not even any like grout or anything to like hold the stones in place. They're just like so finely cut on top of each other, like at an angle, cresting the tops of the archways and things like that. And then I noticed these symbols very similar to the swastika. So I'm like, okay, these distractions, these things that have been embedded into our program, I feel that we're all getting way more awareness about what they really were and what it was really about. And I'm just, yeah, like as much as we can do to bring this information to the surface on, a world level. I feel there can be some action taken in the remembrance potentially of like really getting back into, like people doing maybe potentially some like, hey, I recognize that I had a past life in Tartaria. So you could actually do some work there and travel into those spaces and try to pick some of that information out, potentially that we can start activating some of these grids in a way that we can use, free atmospheric energy, free electrical energy that has to do with water flow, water supply, have to do with the way that the sun collects things, have to do with all the fountains that you see in these big cities, like that are just like shut off, that are like, you see these like ancient obelisks that were, for sure, they were just some sort of atmospheric energy receptor connected to the water that people were going up and healing themselves. People were probably living longer lives. They were probably living hundreds of years old. And so what happened, man? This is where we're at. This is the question that maybe we'll set it off here with, right? Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck
Definitely.
went down, man?
Hey, can I just interject, because we fucking hit the ground running here. I just wanted to do a little like history between the three of us here.
Yeah.
That might kind of like answer some questions, I think. Just for the record, viewers, Daniel introduced us to the early realm theories about 2.5 years ago. I had moved back from Reno back to the Bay Area, and we've all kind of been on our own conspiracy trip, and Danny had sent me a link about a town in Nevada, the town called Virginia City. And that opened the doors for us, kind of, so to speak, or very literally, to nosedive into all early civilizations. I mean, we were already there, but that was kind of the Kickstarter. I had spent a lot of time fucking around on dirt bikes and fishing and just partying up in Virginia City, and seeing the video that you had sent me, Danny, firsthand was like, oh fuck, you know, one of those things that we've used, you know, hiding in plain sight or lost at sea, you know, things that are right under your nose that you've been experiencing your whole fucking life, and all it takes is a different viewpoint. So I did want to stress on that a little, well, not stress, but bring that up and say thank you, sir.
Yeah, bro, absolutely. I'm glad. Like, it makes me feel great that you ran with it. You know, like I carry all these torches now. You know, on all these in all these different communities and all these, like, you know, wisdom traditions and information is coming to me. So like, the more of them that I can pass off and keep the fire lit, and other people just like spreading the information, that's what it's about, man. And like I said, like, this is an evolutionary process and a remembering process.
Well, and that was in those lines. That was also something I wanted to bring up, that when I was a young fucking whippersnapper, you and Ray and Gabe, through the wormholes and Hamburger Eyes, shout out,
Yes,
really opened my eyes to, I guess you could say, a community, you know, like of fucking weirdos and artists that are all looking for something. I don't want to use the word seeker because that seems a little too bland, but, you know, birds of a feather sort of aspect. So thanks again for that, buddy.
Man, you got it, bro. That's it, man. Each one teach one, and all weirdos usually end up congregating together at one point or another, you know?
Fucking ain't right.
Oh yeah.
So
well, sorry. You go.
all right. I wanted to ask you if you felt comfortable with defining exactly what you do with energy and sound and vibration, and how you're applying those things to helping people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super intrigued with the sound healing shit, and I know that shit's real. I know it works, and it's a trip. And this is just a funny story, but like a couple years ago, or maybe it was, I can't remember when now. The time just because time has been weird these last couple years. But on like the radio, sports talk radio, a commercial started popping up about how the sound treatment has now been approved for ED treatment. And to me, you know, that was just, obviously that's proof that the shit works. But I also thought it was really funny that that's finally what it took to like get to America, was like, oh, this shit fixes your boner.
We will prevail.
I guess we better start approving the sound healing thing so we have fucking boners again. But
yeah, I'm sick of the pill, man.
Yeah, I'm just super intrigued by the sound healing stuff, and I love that. Just break it down.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you guys for piquing the interest, or having the piqued interest in it, and asking me. So yeah, a little bit of background on what happened to me and what went down. Like I mentioned, I had developed into a certain shape in a certain vibration in certain experiences in my life. Graffiti, you know, wilder shit that, you know, or graffiti took me into even wilder shit, lifestyle choices. You know,
can't really talk about it on
well, yeah, you know,
Unless
You
you
guys
want
get
to.
the point.
No, I'm saying I'm not scared of shit. I'm releasing all that fear programming of like, all of like what was, because it already was, man, and it's
Yeah.
done. I've cleared it. But there was a moment when I was 34, and it started hitting me at like 32, where I was like, man, I'm going too hard. And I didn't listen for like 2 years, and it was almost like that last moment of like, all right, man, hitting this rock bottom place again, and feeling like if I kept going down this route, I was gonna die. And also just seeing like a bunch of my boys just, passing from drugs, passing from just like, wild shit they were doing, like getting shot, killed, stuff like that. So that was like what prompted me to like, okay, man, like I had some guidance, like, of some sort to like help me shift just a tiny bit of that corner. And I ended up in the Amazon jungle, and I received so much from that place that I got so much gratitude, and it's like hard to even put in words like what happened. But essentially, I started working with plant medicines, teachers, guides, and once I got, again, we talked about the clarity. It's like all of these like channels that I had clogged up with all this shit. When I started like being like, wow, there's like, wow, I'm finally seeing like that there's like light to this again. It went from me to helping my family to helping the general audience. So that was my trajectory. And first it was my hands that I saw getting upgraded. They're like, okay, now it's time to start working on people with your hands, body work. So, and then in the jungle, this wild stuff started happening when I started singing, and I had never really been musical. I took like lessons of, piano lessons when I was a kid, but that was about it. But I do come from a family of musicians. My uncles are OG punk rockers from San Diego, like even in my mom's side, really fucking talented bass, drum, guitar players, and so I have this. I know I had it in me, but like something started upgrading my voice in the jungle. I didn't really know what it was until later. So I got upgraded by the plants, essentially by the spirits of these plants, and not just the spirits but the frequencies that they were showing me. They were like, this is all about frequencies, this is all about sound. Like we are a density of sound at a certain frequency. So we can get that, and then actually we're like, oh shit, we can upgrade by like raising our vibe, raising our frequency, and learning how to shake all the fear programming that's like coming in by the droves now, like, right,
Could
like,
I ask you to elaborate on that connection with the plants? Like, what did you feel? Was it something where you were like vocally singing out loud,
yeah,
or
yeah,
humming, and then you tethered in with this other vibration?
well, first it started with gaining the confidence to sing in front of people. It was like
Mm-hmm.
my first step there. And once there's like a calibration that starts happening, I remember the first song that I sang in the medicine circle. I must have like it was like probably like a 4 minute song that I sang in like 20 seconds. I was like, and it was like something was like calibrating me. It wanted to come out, but I didn't know how to like use my voice yet.
Right.
So the sounds and the melodies started coming to me in during like the day. I'm just like daydreaming, or like in a dream. I wake up and I'm like whistling this song, and then like the words start coming in, and they talk about different experiences that you're having in the jungle, or you're like calling in bird allies, you're calling in, things from the water. So like all of these elemental elements begin to embed into the songs that I was being shown by the plants, but then also learning them from being in these medicine circles over, about 4 years. Actually, it was like the core of it was about 3 years. So I went. It's a funny story, man. I went 80. I went around 80 something sessions like in 3 years. I did 3 full diets in the Amazon jungle, and then she literally kicked me out on the 86th ceremony, bro. Like ayahuasca straight up 86th me on the 86th one, bro. It was
Huh.
I was in straight up. I was in Berkeley, and she was like, "Go sit down." I went to the living room. I was like, "This time I'm about to have a heart attack for sure." I was like, "I'm overdoing it." And sure enough, she's like, I heard this voice. She's like, "Look what you're doing, dude." She's like, 3 years later, she's like, "You're not at the bar. You're not sniffing blow anymore, but you're at an ayahuasca ceremony every weekend." So that was like the fuck, dude. That was like that.
Did you did you personally feel like you were treating it as escapism, or like
I
you?
didn't really until that moment. I didn't get it until that she really showed me that. She was just like, yeah, it's once a week, but you're not doing anything with the information. You're not acting on it. So I was just like, ooh, I love this space. I love feeling like so connected to nature, to these people, these communities, but I wasn't walking the walk yet.
Right.
And so
Sure.
when I finally stopped, dude, it was the wildest like influx of information around trainings. And like probably a month after that, I was in Thailand training bodywork. I was in Spain after that training bodywork. And this whole time I'm singing more. And then I got to Sage Academy of Sound Energy in Woodstock, and then I did my training there. And so it just all started coming in. And what I'll say about the sound, to answer your question, and how I facilitate, is what I say I offer is sound medicine, because we are all each our own self healers. Like I can't heal you. I can't heal you. We have to figure that out for ourselves. What I do is I help turn on the switches, so then you can be like, oh, this is how I do it. But you have to figure out the steps to take.
And
Right.
And
there's still no magic pill to this whole
No,
Yeah.
no, it's you. It's all you. And so
obviously,
what
yeah.
what the sound does, and because you guys know, you guys are musicians, you go into an alternate space. You go into that channel of like you're in the flow state. And you know what I'm saying, like whether it be on stage or whether you're like doing whatever, like singing, it's like when you find that connection to source, it's just coming through you. And so because I've healed myself in the space of from that space of void, of like this, like it's almost like this huge warehouse that I created of dark space for so long. And when I was finally like, oh shit, there's a light here, there's a light here, then I was just like, I saw these like silos of space opening up. And so what I do now is I'm more aware of like, if I'm bringing this thing into my life, is it adding value, or is it chopping me down? And so I'm pretty good at that now, of like not letting the chopper downs come in anymore. And
Parasites.
yeah, the sound, the certain frequencies that I carry from the jungle, they really they put people into a hypnagogic space of like, it's that area between like sleep and awake, that like daydream, like sometimes you wake yourself up, you have a little snore or something. But it's in that space of, I call it non-ordinary reality and nonverbal communication, that your subconscious actually can connect with the frequencies. So if you set an intention for it, or let's just say you're feeling angry about something. Okay, cool. What is it about? But the main thing is about like to feel that anger in your body. And so you ask like, this is the feeling I have. I don't I'm not feeling it anymore. So okay, what do I do? I'll bring in a song that has some sort of snake or anaconda medicine, because the snake has the ability to shed, right? So I bring that into the space and sing these songs that I learned from the jungle, and it helps the people to actually like shed that energy, just like that certain, whatever that snake did for those 6 months, all of that shit that it did was like, you know what, I'm done with that. New version of myself, like moving forward now. So
Do
that's
you
just, was
do you
that
feel like attaching? I mean, is the animal necessary within the vibration as well? Like attaching the animal to like the I don't know what it,
song?
like the visual or something, a mental picture. It
I
helps
wouldn't say
people.
it's necessary, but that's just the way that I work. And
Yeah.
there's different sound healing practitioners, or people that use sound to help people heal, that do different things. I was just at one last night that was way more galactic. Like this woman's talking about Arcturians and the Syrians and the Pleiadians, and like, and I palpably felt presence of higher dimensional beings in the room. You know what I mean? Like I was like laying down, and all of a sudden I get like, it's almost like someone's like touching my cheek with their fingernails, and I'm like, I know something's happening, but I want to like brush it off, but I also just want to like see what's up. And like at a moment, like the whole like right side of my face was just like numb, and I was like,
Wow.
okay, something's happening here. You know what I mean? It's like, it's interesting, man. I've been like kind of like, all right, I'm gonna like try to relax and I'll cross my arms over my chest, and then all of a sudden the sound starts, and about 5 minutes in, my arms are just like boom, like something like grabs my arms and like brings them out to the side like that. I'm like,
Huh.
fuck, man, it's pretty interesting.
That's rad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, you,
No,
I mean, just like, dancing to music, like, music sound like it makes you dance. It's rhythmic. It's like tribal. It's, like
I
it makes
I
sense that we can heal ourselves with this.
it
absolutely.
I definitely subscribe to the fact that like 99.9% of people take this shit for granted. They don't uh I mean, I'm, you said it. We're Casey and I are both musicians. I've played music most of my natural born life. And it wasn't until probably like my 30s that I considered playing music like an art form or a form of creativity. For the longest time, I just was like, it's like graffiti or some art, whatever. It's just something I do. And it wasn't until I started looking at it from, the like it's something I need to do, and it's something that I need to get out of my system, that I did start receiving the benefits of making music in general, the good feeling or the vibrations or the satisfaction of it all. I mean, I think it's up to the individual to be turned on to that, or somebody to present it to them in that way. And that's you, I think, Danny.
Shit, I mean, I have what I have, and I have it to offer. So, it's like that's what I mentioned to people, like, this has been helpful for me. You can take it or leave it, and then for the sound, I work with the elements a lot. Like, I'll usually bring in the fire because that has the transformative qualities. I'll have it in the space that I'm working in. Maybe a glass of water, just to, like, the representatives are in the room. And then the breath is a big one to clear the space, man. Like, taking people through a sequence of breath work is just like, it's really just learning how to calm down enough to be in a place to receive the upgrade frequencies, because we're all connected to each other and to everything. So if we just, like, loosen those braces and those blocks that we have, let's just say, even from like our day, you know what I mean? Like, are we still cringing because we were like hunched over on the computer? You know what I mean? Like, learning how to just, like, all right, like, I'm gonna rub my hands and just, like, well, as I lay back, I'm gonna let the backs of my palms touch the earth. When maybe many people don't do that at all. And it's like, I like to work with newcomers like that and just, like, show them little examples like that. That you can just, that this is just about relaxation, and the breath work expands your state of awareness, and it also clears the space for more of the information to come in, and then I'll start in with the singing and the sounds and the songs, and honestly, it's been getting pretty weird, man. Like, it's just like stuff starts coming through that I'm like, whoa, what does that sound? And then, like, sometimes, like, there's these different beings that show up and start singing through me. Like, sometimes it's an old man that comes into the room, and, like, all of a sudden he's like merging with me and I sound like an old man. Another time I sang, it sounded like an old woman. I was like, whoa, okay.
Hmm.
So that part of it is intriguing to me
That is
also, as I
interesting.
as I develop in this space.
Um, well, you've started like your own practice, like, I guess
Yeah.
we should say. I don't know. Do you want to explain like what it is,
Plug
you're doing?
yourself, man. Plug
Dude,
Well,
yourself.
yeah,
thank you,
I
man.
think explain what you're doing.
So I started with Whole Sky Healing Arts, so the whole sky, and that came to me once in a ceremony that I was gonna have this healing arts company called Whole Sky. So I took that message and I made it into a form. I took an action step on that. So my development in Whole Sky Healing Arts has been, I'm an artist, I'm a creator, I'm a co-creator, and now I assist people in their healing process. And so it started with body work, training there. That took me to the sound healing work. So now I do body and sound in tandem. Usually when I work on people in person, one on one, And that's, you know, in my space here in Austin, Texas. And then I do virtually, I do sound medicine sessions for one-on-one and larger groups. And most recently, this was a message from the universe about a year and a half ago, like, hey, you were, and I'm going to use this word only once, but you were in recovery from alcohol and substance overusage. And so when I cleaned up in that space, and it was a while after that, I was actually like, okay, I'm like, I've been walking this new way for a while, not just staying sober, but I was like taking more action steps to add more things to my life. And that's when I started getting these, let's call them just knocks on the door, you know, people reaching out to me through text or on Instagram, and they're like, yo man, like we know who you were 10, 15 years ago, like how did you pull this off, you know? And that was me like looking up of like, okay, I hear the message now, like this is another torch I have to pass to the homies, to the community, to the families. And so yeah, I'm running a group program called the R.E.S.Q program. That's me.
That,
Y'all
that's an
know.
is that an acronym, right?
Yeah,
R
yeah,
E
yeah. So,
S.
so again, first we use it as the word recovery, but I feel that's the R in the rescue program. But I'm switching that paradigm because I feel like recovery has been very stigmatized and weighted by like you're a drug addict or you're an alcoholic if you're in recovery, you know, and that kind of is like shameful for people that are actually like trying to work on themselves. And
I mean, that feels like it's just the same carryover from mental health. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like
right,
no one
right.
wants to come forward and say, "I've got problems." You know?
Well, yeah, and you know, they want to also make you feel bad for, you know, trying to better yourself as well, you know.
Right, or
Yeah,
if you fuck up, you're like going, you got to go to the back of the line. You know what I mean? Or you like, you're not, yeah, like you fucked up again, right? So it's just
yeah.
like
Mhm.
carries on that energy. So what I'm saying now is the rescue program is a remembering program. So I like to use the word remembering instead of recovery now because essentially we all are remembering. And like I spoke about at the beginning of our call, it's like we're remembering who we are, where we came from, what we came here to do, what other past lives we had, what other multi-dimensional parts of us are working in you know with us at the moment, you know, because I feel like that's what's really happening, you know, like as we become more aware of this, you know, like you start having these epiphanies of like, aha, you know, like damn, dude, the truth, right? And like it's almost like when you get the goosebumps, that's when you're like, you hear that bit of information, you're like, I know that's fucking true, man. Like I feel that my body is like reacting from it right now, you know? So that's where I'm at with that, like helping people remember their truth, helping people remember their purpose here and aligning to that. So rescue program, remembering, embodying is the E. And embodying is learning how to feel yourself again, you know, because we've been so numbed out for so long. Like if we have something that's like really painful come up, we'll withdraw, we'll run, you know, we don't want to face it, we'll throw it under the rug, you know what I mean? But that's all stored in our body. So I help people through, like Casey, we were saying, like through movement, exercises, through, you know, different practices of that require you to just like, how can I activate my feelers in my body again? You know, the breath work is really helpful for that. You know, you're like, you're expanding your lungs in a way that you've never done before, and like all of a sudden you really get to places that you release your natural DMT, and you can start having visions, and you can ask for something and be shown like a direct message related to that. So it's remembering that we are inherently supernatural beings and we're coming online with all of this information that's new to us but also ancient, you know, because everything, nothing, like the ancient saying goes, like nothing new under the sun, you know, it's all been done, it's all been created. And now we get an opportunity to like to uncover the stacks and stacks and stacks from you know, let's just use the word mud flood, right? But
Yeah,
this is like,
Hey,
this is over the whole shit, man. This is like us too, right? We've been
yeah,
here for probably a long time.
totally. And
And
all
then
this is connected. All of this is
yeah,
connected, you
it
know.
is. It is. I'll just
yeah,
finish the rescue acronym before we go
Oh
off
yeah,
too far. But so feeling ourselves, but then the S is for sustaining. So I teach people how to stay in that frequency. To like, oh yeah, I did it, and then just like, you know, I know for me, like I have a tendency to be like, all right, I pulled it off, and then it's like, oh, I really have to train myself to like keep it going, you know, so the sustainability. And I'm using the word quanta. for the Q, and quanta is packets of energy particles in the quantum field. So it's essentially our energy from like our atoms and all of our cells in our body, that we know that like when we believe something, we're like, I'm going to accomplish this. You directly go and you handle it. So that's just one example of like believing that you can do something, and how it ripples into the quantum fields. And that's the energetics of everything, and that's how the universe communicates. It's through feelings. So really helping people tune into their intentions of the energy that they want to put forward, and the work and the purposes that come up for them, that are amplified by the gifts that they carry. So yeah, that's the rescue program, group program. And I'm also doing I do private one-on-one uh, work with clients for anywhere from 3 to 6 months at the moment. And that's me. That's what I'm up to these days.
That's
Well,
rad.
we'll definitely have links for all that shit in the description for everyone listening. So you guys
Thank you, bro.
can check them
I
out. Yeah, definitely.
I
I really like how you are using remember now. I don't know, for some reason when you said that, it just really sunk in with me, and like I really like that. I think that's important. Like we've we need to remember.
Yeah, bro. Big time. And it's like it's not as weighted as the recovery, you know what I mean? Because it's like recovery just like for me, like I feel this energy of like you're broken down, you know what I mean? Like you got tapped out, right? But like we all have our own experience, man, and all experience is learning. And so I got to this place of remembering that like, hey, I don't need to loop in that old shit because I already did it and I already learned from it. So everything essentially has been a success up until right now. Okay, so it's like learning how to be present is the key, is another like key to this game. It's like really like allowing yourself the space to, you can act on things that are like at arm's reach, and you don't have to like overshoot it and be like, fuck, I need to do this, I need to do that, like overthink it, because really the space of calm is how we remember, and it's easier for it's less weighted than feeling like you're like, man, I fucked up, and I'm in recovery, like it's like, I go to rehab, all these words that I feel are being eradicated from the programs right now, that we're just it just feels like a lot easier if we can just have fun and enjoy it all,
Yeah, man, totally. I've always wanted, like, who was the big asshole in history who decided that we had to go to work and fucking do all this other bullshit instead of sitting around a campfire, hanging out with each other, talking shit, philosophizing, having a community, like, who's the asshole who changed that shit? You know what I mean? Because this is
that's
what we
that
should
that's
be doing.
that that's whoever he is, right? Because it's his
Yeah,
story, right? You guys
that's
trip on that one, right?
yeah.
hey.
His story
Boom.
controls.
So something that caught my ear, Danny, is you had mentioned in your one-on-one sessions that you like your minimums to be at least 3 months and your maximum to 6 months, and that perked my ears up in a positive way, because I feel like a lot of uh you know similar programs to what, not that anybody's doing what you're offering, but all of these things, there's no end to them. They want you to keep coming back. It's like a multi-level marketing sort of deal. And it kind of just repeats that same ladder you're climbing in any fucking kind of cult or weird nonprofit religious organization. And
Right.
so I guess my question is that it when do you determine between those 3 and 6 months that your client is like safe to go out and be, practice what you've taught them and how to apply your teachings to their everyday life?
Yeah, it's an intuitive process and feeling. It's like I've had several of these calls in the last few days, and it's also gauging, their bandwidth, their capacity, their availability, their schedule. and it's like, you know, it's about sharing their story with me, and when I listen to them, I'm able to gauge, okay, I feel like 6 months would be good if we jumped into it this way. Whereas there's a few people that I direct to the group program because I feel like sharing in a group space would help them grow more than sharing with just like one-on-one with me. So if I sense somebody is like very shy, I'll be like, I'll encourage them to go into the group program because I'm encouraging growth to be like, okay, you don't have to be shy. We're all in this together. You know what I mean? It's like we all share a similar experience and we're all equal. It's like there's no hierarchy here. So yeah, just you know things like that. It's a feeling, and just to say, you know, as I develop in this space of guidance and coaching, I'm also seeking guidance and coaching. So I'm in the process too of hiring my own coach at the moment because I know that that's how it works. Like the more information you get and you share, it's almost like, okay, I shared my capacity now. So now move on to the next teacher so you can learn that next level so you can keep passing it to the students, and then they're also growing and they're like, and for me, like the word integration is huge. That's why I do have a program that has an end date because I want my students to go out into the this reality and apply the things that we went over, you know, and then potentially they hit me back like I want to continue, or like, hey, guess what? I found another coach and I'm badass. You know what I mean? Like that's what's up. I'm not attached to it. That's yeah, it's something that I'm learning that is actually like again, like it's that what I just said earlier, like grow with the flow, you know, it's like wherever your flow state takes you, you know what I mean? You may gravitate towards, you know, something may open for you that like all of a sudden you get like a job in Africa or something, you know what I mean? And it's like, damn, your dream job came through. So now you're working in this business and potentially you need another coach to help you work with other businesses. I don't know, you know, it's just like whatever pops up.
Yeah, I
Sure.
mean, well, there's lots of teachers to learn from, you know, for
Yeah.
sure. And you know, I'm all about absorbing everything in. You know what I mean? Like knowledge is power, and the more you know, the better off you're going to be, no matter what.
Dude,
Especially if
we're
you
in that
don't,
we're in
you
that
know,
age, man.
yeah, yeah, dude, for sure. Yeah.
I feel like we're in the age of unlearning right now, big time. Also, it's like really like all coming in, like as the truth surfaces and you can see, wow, this is like has been so blatantly like hidden from me or I've been lied to about for so long. And so the training now goes into taking those steps to amplify your awareness and start checking yourself, because if you're still unleashing that like those words or that loop that's like programming your environment, that's the thing that I feel like the true evolution is in growing and like becoming aware of your own self, and that's the true self. So
Yeah, I
there's a
love
lot
that.
to it. There's a lot to
Yeah,
it, you know, and there's material still available to us that helps us uncover and shed and forgive and accept and all of these things, and that helps us grow monumentally, man. Like fucking wild. Um, yeah.
Well,
big time.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
I think we had a good segue into Tartaria there. Just well, you already said it earlier, but the you know, the vibrations that we can any one of us, if we're receptive to, we can pick up that are in the air in just our being. You know, what how I don't know, maybe it's just that what you're doing with your program is so in line with you know, early civilization theory, you know.
Yeah,
Do
or
you
at
want
least
to
it. At
expand
least,
on that?
I will say that there's a thread that I'm following that is connected to the sound healing and the old churches and the cathedrals, because I feel like there for me like just really like what like looking at and again having that space of calm and pause and bandwidth expansion where I can actually like spend time and like look around and not just like walk into the church, sit down, dun, dun, do the thing, and then just like listen to the same rhetoric over and over and over again.
Yeah,
But
the
I'm
same
actually like,
affirmations and
yeah, I'm actually
the same morals.
right, and I feel like, man, there's so many. There's my mind's wanting to go into like six tangents right now.
Yeah.
You know, like how are these programs implemented and by who, right?
And
Like,
I think a little like we're talking about right now the theory that churches uh pre mud flood, pre event, were centralized places of sound and vibration healing. Am I wrong here?
no, you're right. That's where I was getting at. Thank you for pulling me back on track because
Yeah, sorry, man.
I noticed myself like being like, oh shit.
Well,
Yeah,
and
I feel that
also
100.
for the listeners, like we can talk about these things and know what each other's talking about, but then also some people may not be hip to that mode of thought. So sorry.
Yeah, break
No, it's
break
all good.
break down the cathedral and what you think it used to be.
What I sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what you sense, because I feel like we're on the same page of this, but I think you can probably explain it a lot better than I can.
Yeah, I feel that there was a harnessing of energy, some sort of energy. It may have been atmospheric, it may have been electric, or it could have been a combination of both, having to do with maybe other things. And but the sound resonance also, along with all of that, was an amplified community offering of sound healing. It seems like, I mean, if you look at some of those organs that are still intact, and when there's like an ability for them to be played that like it sounds the whole neighborhood, and that's probably only a little bit of the technology that's still being shown. Like I look at those cathedrals and I notice like on a lot of the old buildings, it looks like something has been removed from the top of them. Like a lot of the buildings just look like, why would it even be designed like that? It looks like some sort of like cap or antenna that
Yeah,
was
tech, some kind of tech.
super intricate tech was removed. So what was that bringing in? And I mean, you can go around any downtown now and see like the shabby versions that are up on like the big buildings that are like these like little, they look like coat hangers, right?
Yeah,
But essentially they're doing the same thing. They're harnessing some sort of energy, whether we have access to it or not. It's still being used. And I heard theories that you see all of these obelisks everywhere, everywhere around the world, like on tops of buildings or even in like public parks or like public spaces in like the downtown area, right? And what is that frequency? What is the frequency that's being harnessed by that obelisk? And what is it doing to the community? I feel that there's been a manipulation of it, a switch into a frequency of control, of like lowering vibration, so people, yeah, so that's it. So people don't grow. So people stay stuck in these loops and don't remember.
right.
That's
You
what I
know
feel.
what? I mean, this may be a weird random sidebar, but listening to the Howdy McCloskey interview on Deborah Gets Red Pilled, he brought up something that I had never fucking ever thought about. But when he was talking about walking around Stonehenge,
Oh
he
yeah,
talked about how all the tours the guided tours of Stonehenge go counterclockwise around the formation. And he had the bright idea when going there to do it clockwise, feeling as if he was turning, reactivating that place, and I had never fucking thought about that. And I've been trying to put that into practice in my everyday life now, of like, if I am going to walk around something, to try and get a view of it or get a look out of it, get a better understanding of it, just to do that counterclockwise, to activate it, and hopefully in turn that will turn me on to that thing. And obviously not in a sexual way, but you know what I mean, like
yeah, right.
Are you sure
kind of
about
all.
that?
Yeah, no,
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I
Every
think a
time I
lot
get
of
around an obelisk.
definitely. I mean, I think a lot of these things have been turned off, and or like you said, Danny, been turned to a inverted vibration that's doing the complete opposite of what it was meant to do. You know what I mean? Definitely.
Yeah. And Nick, I want to follow up on what you said too, because that makes sense to me too. And because I know that there's what I feel that we are is like a very advanced technology, and then like you have all these like people for many years who are like, oh yeah, your body's just your meat suit, you know, you're gonna die. And I was like, I don't know, man, like that's not ringing true to me anymore. I feel that this is very advanced, and like making things like go walking counterclockwise can actually like, yeah, like I feel that that could activate something. You know,
Sure.
I've seen people like do swipes on bodies as of recently, like just patterning, like just like, and then all of a sudden you feel like some sort of activation. So just think about that, like how many times you like swipe your screen or your phone. If we remembered how to swipe and touch the activation points of our body, dude, I know for a fact we're all gonna be just like waking the fuck up quick. Um,
At a certain point, I feel like that that is completely possible within the power of suggestion. You know what I mean? Or personal belief, where it's like if you're saying, I will be activated by this thing, you tell yourself enough times, you're fucking gonna be turned on, baby.
yeah,
Or
yo,
it's that
there's
main
been
intent.
another intriguing part to all this that has been somewhat boggling me, but there's the concept of timelines and overlapping of timelines, because in my personal reality, I know that I've been able to access different timelines of my being. But imagine if that CERN experiment that went down years ago, like what they said, you know, like they just that shit went on, right? And then it was like, whoa, well, everything's like chill, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
What if
Fingers
like
crossed.
yeah, but what if like there's what we're witnessing right now is like inverted timelines because of these vibrations. So it's like all of these realities are like leaving clues in this earth realm that we're in at the moment. And I don't know if you saw this, but this is what made me think of it, because you said Stonehenge, and I saw some video a few weeks ago that they showed these guys like someone like chipping away at Stonehenge, and it was like there was straight up like rebar in it, dude. So it was almost
Oh, fuck.
like is it staged? Like is this on a different timeline coming into ours? You know what I mean? Is it a sacred site? So but like think about it, because it's like, oh yeah, this like megalithic, like we don't know who did it, but then at the same time you got these fucking buildings everywhere that are still in use that are way more advanced than a stack of bricks on top, or a stack of stones on top of each
Yeah.
other. You know what I mean? That have technology on them. So it's like, boom, dude. What's going on? I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
there's potentially like overlapping timelines of different realities, just like mixing
Yeah.
into ours with all this information. You know?
And
Huh.
Stonehenge, yeah, Stonehenge could just be like a set, a disinformation set
Sure.
of like thinking, that's how it was. These old megaliths, when there's a cathedral right there,
You know what I
that
fucking think it is? It was an old goddamn airport, dude. That's what it was. There's a big old landing strip. You just fly on down, land your Zeppelin, get a fucking hot cocoa.
Well,
It's a wrap.
The Zeppelin. I mean, that's proof that, you know, I mean, all these old buildings have all of the, you know, like the top floor windows have these like beautiful archways and pillars for like these flying machines or zeppelins just to pull up, and everyone like walks out and then goes into the building from on top, and there's usually like a train system connected to the underground of the city there. It's like this grid has been intact for probably a long time, man. I don't know. And again, timeline crunches, timeline overlaps, like how like this is where I start getting like boggled, and I'll have to like just be like, all right, man, it's like that's enough for tonight, because
I've just been
seriously,
resigning to call it the illusion of time. You know what our perception is, and then you get into realities where everybody's a fucking viewpoint is a different reality. Time is different to every single individual.
Well, yeah, I mean, a dog's reality on the world is a lot different than our reality on the world. You know, so everyone has. There's so many different realities, and
Right. Yeah, and then the evidence, the stuff that like, okay, there's like this massive building that you can't build anymore because the technology's been lost, or there's like a stack of these like monster stones that no one else, or how did they lift them if they didn't have cranes back in the days, right?
right,
Uh,
Um,
back,
and no one
dude,
claimed them.
right.
back in the day, Danny, I think you showed me or sent me the Coral Castle down in Florida.
Oh,
Do you
Florida, yeah.
remember that?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that
that's
thing is
fucking
Where that
crazy.
homeboy just fucking cut out these megalith blocks of coral right out and fucking on off the beach in front of his house and somehow set it up.
I feel like it was just if he got the download, he figured out how to be in tune with nature, or partner showed up and gave him a hand, you know, like showed him how to cut those things, and I don't doubt any of that, you know. It's again, it's something that came through into this timeline, probably from a higher dimensional, higher vibrational source that he had access to do that. And I feel that that's potentially how a lot of these buildings were built. You know, and you know, um, the pyramids, you know, all of these like megalithic sites that I've witnessed some firsthand in New York that were off the hook, man. In Putnam County, they're called stone chambers, and there's about I don't know, 50 or 150 of them that are concentrated in Putnam County in the Hudson Valley, and then there's like a few that they found similar in Ireland. There's like one in Connecticut, but it's like again, it's like just like these megalithic slabs on top of like a rock, sort of like almost like a hut, but some people or something figured out how to just set the rocks like perfectly on top of the smaller rocks to like hold it all in place, and yeah, like how was that done, right? Like how did people figure out how to do that, or what were they using, right? Was it they were in connection with the minerals, they were able to just levitate them, or was there a
Sound,
technology present, right? Would you say,
yeah,
Casey?
maybe some kind of sound technology
Maybe
to make it,
maybe
you
sound
know.
technology. Yeah, that's been an interesting one that came up. I also, the wall that's in Cusco, the brick wall that's in like the center of the city.
Oh
It's
yeah,
Yeah.
all like different, not symmetrical, not uniform. I heard a theory saying that they were some sort of like almost like sacks that they like were stacked up, and then some process to just sort of like vitrify them or like crystallize them, like when they kind of already stacked them up in place. I don't know, but again, that could
huh,
be,
yeah,
that's amazing too in its own right,
totally, yeah.
that was like
That's awesome.
yeah.
Um, and so first, you've been in Texas for a little bit,
Yeah.
and you've been seeing. I mean, you've been sending me tons of pictures, and you've been showing me tons of these old world buildings out there.
Man, it is like it's like there's a lot here in Texas, man, like all over the place. It's from there's certain like things that I'll look for now. If I see that like that bronze brass green patina like on the
Mm.
rooftop,
The dome.
I'll be like, all right, that's an old one. You see like some little piece of the tech that got left behind. And then again, there's some big ones that are like the library at UT, University of Texas in Austin. It's like you look at that building and you look at the top and you're like, something's totally missing from the top of it. Like the pinnacle spire has been like removed. And then the Capitol building, man, it's like it's a sight to be held. It's like it's all rose granite. Um, Rose granite is the bottom layer of the pyramid at Saqqara too. So that's a
Huh.
connection there that I made.
Whoa.
Um, and yeah, man, just flooded out. There's just like that first floor just like barely showing up out of the ground. You know what I mean? Up about 2-3 feet. One thing I
Wow.
don't know, Casey, you may have posted it or someone else. It might have been like Tartaria or Mud Flood memes or one of these guys. Tartaria rising. But like, I feel like the buildings were so much bigger. Like we'll take it back to Virginia City, right? Like all of those, like the recent like dig outs or like the add-ons of like the excavations and the like
Yeah, yeah,
architectural fit. But it's almost like these ancient people had a knowledge of these reset events and when they were going to happen because it's almost like and they knew like maybe even like the amount of like water or flood that was going to happen because all of a sudden they built like another doorway like halfway up the building and so like it got flooded and then they can like put a new staircase up to it, you know what I mean? So it was
Uh-huh.
almost like I was tripping on that the other day of like seeing some of these old photos of like wow, do they know? Is there a timeline here of like when this happens? You know, have you guys
Yeah.
gotten into any of that?
I mean, I think it's definitely possible. And I've heard different people talk about that like every 400 years or every so many years it resets out, Earth or, our realm or whatever you want
Yeah.
to say, resets out.
yeah. I
I
pretty much
honestly think there could be like millions of civilizations that have come before us, and
Straight up.
we're like what we call Earth is just fucking whatever the remains of the millions of civilizations we're sitting on,
definitely.
Stacks on stacks on stacks on
Yeah,
stacks, man.
Yeah.
layers on layers.
Something that's really been tripping me out, of like uh looking into the possibilities of realm Earth, flat Earth, any of these alternate theories is, all right, let's say we're under a dome, let's say there's a liquid firmament outside of that dome that completely uh takes away the possibility, or maybe not completely, but let's just say for argument's sake, it takes away the possibility of outer terrestrial, right? And then you look at the term for which we call beings from outer space as extraterrestrial, and that just means they're an extra species from our terra,
Mm-hmm.
and that correlated with, let's say, the realm we know it and what's outside that realm. So like that's one where I fucking spiral out on, of like, is if we're on a flat earth, can it be hollow? And then if we're in a realm and all we know is what we're shown and where we can fly and where we can travel, then what's beyond that? Are we living in a Middle Earth type reality that we only know the map that Tolkien has drawn for us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Are we talking about the pre 1812 map or are we talking current?
I mean, choose
Yeah,
your own
talk about 1812 a little bit.
Let's talk about that, but I want to mention something to Nick as like just as like a potentially like an anchor for the spiral. Um, I won't go too deep into it, but what resonated most for me as of recently, I would say in the last 3 years, when I encountered a group in Brazil that I'm connected to on some level that they said that the Earth is actually more like a shape like this. It's like a convex shape.
Yeah.
Um, so the water would be held by this like sort of basin, and they said that it's actually like an ice basin. So if you like, remember like Ragnarok when they show that image of like, um, what is it like? Where's Thor from?
Yeah.
Anyways, like they,
Fucking
they
Yeah, yeah, the
they have
leopard.
in one of the marvels, it shows that exact fucking shape of like this like icicle like base that's like
sure.
um, and then they said that we're not it's not a solar system. All this shit is a lie. Is what like I got to this group. They're like everything you learn is a complete lie. They're like this is an Earth system. They said, and there's different realms here, and we all kind of pick up on this because you use that word realm. They
Yeah.
said that we're in not some place that has 9 rings and the earth is in the first ring. They said that when we die we go into a second ring. We're still actually active, we're still doing stuff. It's not like what we think is like, oh, we cry because our family members die. It's actually like much lighter than that. There's a lot of teachings here, but back to the Earth part, they said that where like the map of like our world is encased by an ice wall, like straight up like Game of Thrones style.
Huh.
And on the outside of this actual enclosure of ice, there's other civilizations. So that could be to your extraterrestrial
Yeah, I'm pretty
deciphering
much.
there.
I kind of feel I'm along the lines of that as well.
Yeah.
But what you just said,
Yeah, and there's been, you hear like Admiral Byrd, like fuck, they like flew over and like caught glimpse of like what was over there, you know what I mean? There's like little
and they
Yeah,
stories
got
that
the
have
yeah.
like
they
that have
got the
like
fuck
trickled
out of
out.
there after.
Yeah, so like it's like you think about like we're okay, North Pole and South Pole, like they got people thinking that it's like on either end of like a round ball. And then the round ball thing is just like everyone's like if you're thinking that this is a round ball, you're gonna stay spun out because you're thinking like woo, like
Yeah.
yeah, we're flying in space, like
Yeah,
woo.
bro.
We're never gonna stand still, and that's part of the programming to make
Totally.
people like just like constantly in motion. This group said that there's 38 movements that this place makes, that this they call it a platform. It's a convex platform, and one of them is like this. So it's like an energy, it's like a frequency wave that goes like up and down, just like sound, just like vibration,
Mm,
just like energy, how it moves. There's a positive, there's a negative, and there's a neutral. Sort of like when you crest, it's like you're in the neutral, and then you're down. It's like neutral, positive, negative. So they said that that's one of the 38 movements that this place makes,
wow.
which was pretty intriguing. But we can get more into that later. Casey, what were you gonna ask before
I don't remember, but why don't you just keep going on that? I want to
that?
hear more
Yeah,
about
I'm digging.
history.
I've kind of like come outside of flat Earth or any of that, where it's like the possibility of any shaped Earth, but more or less like a donut shaped Earth or something. Of like, there's who knows what the
Well,
fuck it looks
Did
like.
you
it's
did you
definitely
guys?
not what they tell us. It's
No, no,
definitely
no,
not
no,
what they
no.
tell
That
us.
dude,
So I mean,
all that
that's all.
CGI bullshit, man, that's
Yeah,
crap.
Star
That's
Wars,
that's not
Star
real.
Trek shit.
Um,
It's cool to watch.
well, maybe because again, it's like all the images that come into our spectrum shape our reality. So eventually, we're gonna believe that that's true if we see it enough. And so we're getting to a place now where we recognize that, and we're tuning ourselves differently of like shedding all this like misinformation. Um, Yo, I'm just gonna plug my computer in. Give me 1 second, guys.
Yeah.
All good, bro.
And I needed to take a bong rip after that one.
What are they, Holmes?
Yow!
Right back myself.
I like the raccoon.
Yes, the homie. Chilling, wanted to come say what's up. He might want to say something in a few.
Oh yeah, fucking Rocky the raccoon. Oh, so what? I mean, before we jump back into it, just out of curiosity, what is your success rate on your program?
I've had some pretty amazing testimonials, man. Like, and they're around, someone stopped smoking weed that, was smoking weed their whole life to it's more of the energetics that started happening, and also just seeing the the success in their life that's happening almost immediately, like setting goals for their dream job, and then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, it landed, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Literally
yeah,
like a week later, you know what I mean? It's like I guide people to get to a place where we're like, all right, you know that this is not serving you anymore. This like whatever this is, like you're over your boss, you're feeling like drained as fuck, you know what I mean? So like helping them take that action step and just like giving them a hand to be like, you got this, go for it, like trust yourself, have the faith that this you're gonna pull this off, and that's been the big success of like being like, wow, man, witnessing that of like, damn, this is cool because this information's actually helping people. So that's what I've been stoked on.
fucking A.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot of people ask like, what can we do to fight this system or whatever, and I think shit like this, like creating communities, common unity, and helping each other instead of fucking each other over. It's
Dude,
gonna fucking change. That's what's gonna change the world. You know what I
big
mean?
time, man. Big time. So like I came up with this I think I told you guys I'm doing another project I'm doing. It's called Enjoy Activation. It's a high frequency wordplay project. So I'm like it feels like my amplified version of graffiti that's coming through still, where I'm like still on the street doing like big block letters, but I'm putting positive messaging through wordplay to help people raise their vibration. But the new one I want to do is it's going to say community is the new currency, and then the unity is like is emphasized in community. So like it's all of it, man. It's like what you just said, Casey. It's like it's how we exchange. It's like really like coming and like sitting by the campfire, man. And it's like sharing these ideas, sharing abilities. Like, yo, what are you good at, man? Oh, you know how to do that? Show me, and I'll show you how to do this. And then that's how you're like, you just get you get it,
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
You've been pretty active the last few months doing those projects, haven't you? I think I saw one you and Haler did.
Yeah, we did that one in Detroit not too long ago. Yeah, it's been great, man. We're getting some content up and running, and I'll keep you guys posted on that. I want to get 5 really good ones done, and then really blast it off, like, take it around the world, see what we can
Hell
do.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's awesome. I mean, you put out good vibes, you're gonna get good vibes back.
that's it.
Put
That's it.
out bad vibes, you're gonna get bad vibes back. So,
That's gonna be, man. That's like
let's raise the positive vibes on everyone. You know what I mean?
one
I love it.
thousand, man. One
You know,
thousand.
it's kind of trippy in that the mural game now, like stepping away from the graffiti scene to get my shit together and coming back, and after all the protests, an old partner of mine and I were painting a series of murals, and like just it was fucking insane, the level and amount of people and appreciation that would come up and just like want to talk to you about
Yeah,
how you're brightening their day just by putting some fucking spray paint on the wall, or like
that's it.
some any kind of message people they want now. They're open to it, they're receptive to it, and it tripped me the fuck out. I was honestly like, after it took me about 5 people saying thank you and trying to hand us money, of like, for it to really set in and be like, man, this is shit's fucking changed. This is insane. It's
Yeah,
cool.
that's it, and that's a see how you're like you're amplifying the community with colorful works of art, and people, they've been so a lot of people got so disconnected, man. Like last year through 2020, you know what I mean? That was like
Yeah.
when they came out to the street to see like someone actually like doing something creative, they're like, fuck, man, it's just like the real love and connection comes out, and that's it exactly. I feel the same way. Like doing those walls, like the real people come up, the people from the community, you know what I mean? The homeless people, you get to have a conversation with some dude that's been living on the street and hear his story and just give him some, a moment for him to express himself, and that's like, that's to me, that's the real work, man. Just like really like enlivening people's lives that, that may have been or still are like a little bit dimmer, and then that ripples out to their families, to their friends. They're like, yo, these guys are painting the spot over here, go check it out, and it's like, it's awesome, man. I'll always be in love with that.
Yeah,
Something
it's
I
like leave.
No, you go, Casey. I've been jabberjawing.
I was just gonna say, it's just about like wherever you go, you leave the place better than you left it, kind of
That's it, bro. That's it. That's a really good motto, way to do it, man. That's
Something I trip out on with the just what we're talking about, the graffiti aspect, is the personal investment in it. How do you feel like going from being a fucking international raw ass street artist to then changing your perspective to wanting to do good for the community versus wanting people to essentially have your name in their mouth?
Yeah, it was there was a lot of ego dissolving and a lot of complexes I recognized I was carrying for a long time that were parts of me that were essentially attempting to protect my true self from like disappointment, from unworthiness, shame, from rejection. So it feels like I've come to this place of centeredness in myself, and now being able to witness this thing that's happening, and what I can do to help and to give back is, okay, what am I good at? I got good at graffiti. I did it for a long time. I learned how to do big letters neatly and boldly. So I'm going to use this to put this, messaging to the people so that they can amplify their lives and feel joy and feel happy, and that's, yeah, it's just my creative next step to it. And man, it's like I'm making this a community art project. So like, if anybody wants to get down with this, man, reach out to me, because I just looked at a wall, and actually it's funny, I just looked at a wall in Minneapolis, bro. Like someone just sent me a rooftop downtown Minneapolis. It's like a 5-story building, that's just blank, right downtown, and it's like, so it's funny that you're just there. I just got this video last night from a friend that's there. So like I have people on the ground that are scouting, but it's like I just share this information with them, and they're like, we want to help. I'm like, cool. That's what it's about. It's about all of us getting together with this, so we can really make this a wave, and really spread it quickly, because I feel like there's the manipulative forces right now that are doing their damnness to like be quick with it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are falling into the trap, bro. They're just like, "Meh, oh yeah, we're gonna do it because like they said to do it."
Yeah.
Eh.
Or because it's popular right now.
Or because it's popular right now. Fuck, dude. That's probably something happening, bro.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Life
Well,
is
you
a
always,
trip.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is a good place to leave this first little chat with you at. I don't know. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna say
you
too. I have 13 minutes before I was gonna bail out. It's
Okay, let's do it. Let's get another
Yeah, if we
13
have like a
now.
cap, and we can riff on a few more things if you guys want.
Yeah, let's do it.
Nick, I want
I
to I want to say one, just because you inspired me by the extraterrestrial, but I broke down the word planet recently,
mm.
and plan ET, like the ET plan. That one was dope when it came through, because I feel like a lot of us are recognizing that we have these templates, or this information from different beings from different places. For me, I carry an Arcturian imprint, that's come to me several times in my history here in this experience, and probably from before. But then I talk to people who are like, yo, I feel like I'm from Sirius, or like the Hathors are really like popping up for me, or the Pleiadians. So I invite you all to get into that, and we can rap more about it. But that was cool, because it's almost like I've again I'll close with some more of the Brazil stuff that it was really resonant, and I'm sure you guys will feel it too. It's that we all came here for a purpose, and it's a big purpose, and they said it's about this emotional coding that's happening right now. So like we are in this thing that we get to live through 100% of emotional capacity. So something went down apparently when there was an experiment that when we got made, and I don't know if this is somehow related to the Anunnaki and the Garden of Eden and all this stuff. We won't get too far into that, but there was a geneticist named Enki that when they created us, snipped in this iteration. I don't know how that works, or in this, again, like the timeline thing, I start looping, but
Right.
it's just a different reality.
yeah, yeah. So our bodies are designed to last a long, 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 long time. Just like those buildings. Like these are thousands and thousands. This technology goes thousands and thousands of years, maybe even more. But this Anunnaki geneticist, snipped a telomere at the end of our DNA strand, and that's what causes us to only live about 100 years at best. So, and then there's this recycling program that's happening that everybody believes in, that's indoctrinated into, of like, oh well, guess I'm just gonna die, and maybe like, and then people maybe believe in like reincarnation and being reborn, but I feel that is a program of belief. So again, coming to this place now where we're like, we know that there's something more to this, and getting to a place where we're like recognizing our eternal coding and activating that, I feel like we can transcend potentially this karmic loop shit that we've been caught in for so long. And I don't know, man. I'll say a few more things because I know that I'm riffing here, but
But no,
the moon.
that just gave me goosebumps. But that's
Yeah,
what
that
I'm
was
saying. But yeah,
sick,
no,
man.
but no, keep yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all good, man. I heard another one that came up recently too. Is that and you guys may have seen this, but the moon. There was these guys that like I don't know what YouTube channel, but they were like zooming in on the craters of the moon, and like in one of the craters
Oh,
was
it's
straight up the
Casey's
map.
boy, dude.
Oh yeah,
Vibes
it's
of
like
Cosmos, dude.
yeah, map of our Earth realm, right? And but then there's these all these other realms that are on the moon,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So and
Vibes of
then
Cosmos, I think.
oh,
Yeah,
what's his name?
that fucking
Let's give him a
I
shout
think,
out.
yeah, I think that's the Vibes of Cosmos channel. I
Sick.
think.
Yeah, yeah, that
yeah,
was a good
it
one.
rips.
Ellen rips for sure. I heard another thing though. It was like the moon is actually a technology that was brought here. I don't know how long ago, but like it's not actually part of our system. But they brought it because of the reincarnation and recycling program. So they say
All right.
that it has the technology having to do with when we die, we get filtered through the moon and get like kicked back into into the program. So now
Mm-hmm.
that one gave me goosebumps. I was like, "Fuck, man,"
Yeah.
because there's so many people these days that are like worship the moon or like people are like, "Oh, new
Oh,
moon, full moon," but like simultaneously, the nefarious forces are also doing their ritual magic on those
Yeah.
days. So if you guys, any listeners out here that are into that, I highly suggest to clear and create a clear communication with yourself and light source when you do rituals with the moon because you could be jumping into that energy that potentially could get you looped into that reincarnation process again.
Hmm.
dude, the moon is fucked.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
I heard I heard a rumor that
Made of cheese.
yeah, fucking guy. Never mind.
All right.
Hey, one thing I did want to talk about. I don't know if you want to talk about it, Danny, but for me, like growing up around you and shit, and not to say that you were a bad influence by any fucking means, but you were one of the first people who introduced like psychedelic drug use to me as a means of healing, not as an escape or a party drug. I don't know if you want to talk about your experiences with that at all, or if we should save that for another time.
Well, I feel like I touched on it a bit by just giving you a little bit of background with my history of being in the Amazon
Yeah, yeah.
jungle. I definitely, I vouch for that 100%. I feel like, especially psychoactive drugs, when done in the proper setting with a an internalized congruent intention that is about your health, about your wellness, about something that you desire to receive. I feel that helps you gain access to it a lot quicker, and I do vouch for the health benefits of psychedelics and psychoactive plants.
I guess just within you were literally the first person to open my mind to that. So, hey, thanks, bud.
Dude, man,
Uh,
thank
I
you.
don't know.
Lots of love going around in this Congo.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
I mean, it was kind of like, I don't know, just only using drugs and shit as an escape, and then having an older influence that I looked up to say, you can unlock different parts with this, Thanks.
It's pretty wild because now I'm younger, dude. I'm 25 again.
Get it.
So how does that work? Timeline jumping, bro.
The illusion of time.
Oh, I'll leave one for the note because this was a good one that came through by a dear friend of mine. But she said time is to ignite momentum efficiently. And I
Ooh.
was like, damn, man, because if you're unbounded by the restraints of the clock or like thinking like I gotta do this in like this increment of time, but instead if you initiate the momentum efficiently, which means that like you believe and you have a focus to just complete it in the best way, in the most efficient way, it's timeless. And I'm sure you guys have experienced this when you like get into music. When you're in that flow state and you're going, it could be hours, it could be weeks, and all of a sudden it was like maybe it was only 5 minutes, right? If you want to like put a label on it. You know what I mean? So I feel like this is part of what's breaking down right now in the system of like how we think about things and the entrapments that we create by the shackles that have been distributed into the system, into our minds. You know, so government, if you break that word down, govern is to control and ment is mind. So mind control. It's right there in front of your fucking face, dude. All you.
Damn, dog.
Oh, yeah.
So that's boom right there, because that's so simple, but like everybody's like, as soon as they wake up to it, this whole thing will shift. But there's so many people like, oh yeah, they're controlling our mind, and this is what we're in the midst of. We're in the midst of a World War III, a mind war right now. So let's just stay tuned into ourselves. Let's feel ourselves here, and that's we got all
Maybe
this inside of us.
the next session will be about how to accurately blend into square society and still not lose your mind.
I don't know if that
Or do you have a whole new shape on your forehead, man, and just streaking through the city butt ass naked and just see what happens, you know?
Fucking, I'll meet you there.
Fuck yeah, guys.
Well, dude, you want to fucking give
plug all your websites
your
and shit.
Oh, dude, thank you, man. Yeah, so on Instagram, whole sky rescue. So WHOLE_SKY_RESQ, whole sky rescue, and my website is wholeskyhealingarts.com. And I mostly work through Instagram these days, so I have a few links in my bio page about the rescue program, about my one-on-one coaching work that I do. So yeah, take a peep, y'all, and just hit me up if you ever want to talk about healing, psychedelic plants, conspiracy theories, partners, UFOs, all of it, man. I got a lot of experience with it, and I'm happy to share.
Oh yeah, and
Fuck yeah.
We'll get back together here pretty soon. And,
Let's do it, man.
Hey,
talk to be with you guys, bro. Love you guys.
Yeah,
yeah.
fuck yeah.
Love
Let
you
us
too,
know, everybody, what you think about this interview. If you like it, in the comments. I just want to give another shout out to the wormholes, because those dudes are fucking sick. They need to bring their shit back stat.
Fuck yeah, you hear that, Gabe? Fucking Ray's Reports, at Ray's Reports, original member.
Yeah, shout out to Hamburger Eyes.
Yeah, we should all let's do a show together, man. Let's bring it up. Fuck yeah.
Right on.
Right on,
Hell
guys.
yeah.
Thanks for taking the time, bro. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Danny.
Dude. Hell yeah.
We appreciate you, buddy.
All right.
Love you, brother.
Love you, bro. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.